Hey guys, what's going on? We got another Mythic Plus video here today, and this time we are doing a 23 Blackrock hold. We're playing Enhancement, and we also have Fire Nova. The affixes are Fortified, Incorporeal, and Sanguine, so it's kind of like a bit of a crummy week, but yeah. Anyways, the reason why I'm trying out Fire Nova is because Season 4 is almost here. And I honestly haven't been doing too much content, but I kind of got in my head the other day that I want to, see if Fire Nova actually does anything. And it was super disappointing. Honestly, I was looking at my overall afterwards, and Fire Nova did less damage than almost every other ability, which is kind of sad, considering it's supposed to be like this massive AoE thing, right? But it just doesn't do any damage. Now, it does rely a bit on RNG with your elemental wolves, but overall, like, as a strict AoE spell that hits 36 up to 36 targets, because each Fire Nova hits 6 targets, so if you have 6 flame shocks, blah blah blah. But anyways, yeah, it does very little damage, which was super surprising. And this first hallway was a nightmare. So, but yeah, I really am hoping they make some modifications to it because it is a talent that's basically never been used, and for good reason. It doesn't do any damage. There's nothing behind it. It's not worth taking over Hailstorm at all because Hailstorm just does significantly more damage on AoE, and it does significantly more damage on single target as well, which is quite surprising. And it doesn't really matter how many targets you have, it's just going to do that much damage, whereas Fire Nova relies on having multiple targets with a bit of funnel. So in my opinion, Fire Nova should do a significantly more damage in AoE scenarios, but it doesn't. It's just super weak. It's like you'd rather not have it at all. So I don't know. It's weird. Maybe it would be better with a storm build buffing with physical damage. I don't know, but this test was just super disappointing. I was really hoping to get some really good AoE, but no, it was not. But anyways, on another note, Season 4 is on its way, coming on the 23rd, I think it was they said. So that's super exciting, so we can hope for some modifications. Although we are keeping the current tier set throughout that entire season, which kind of does suck in my opinion. Maybe they'll give some love to the Storm build, so you can play either one of them. But other than that, we're getting a whole bunch of dungeon changes, which I've gone over before, and just some, I'm not sure if they're going to do affixes or not next season. I'm not sure. They were talking about not doing it, I think. Or maybe that's for War Within, I don't know. But yeah, I'm really hoping we see some modifications to Enhancement, because even though technically it is strong, it still has major issues in Mythic Plus. Not so much the single target side, but the AoE side. We're the only real class that is hard capped in AoE. Now I know Crashing Storm is unlimited AoE, but it doesn't do very much. Even though it is constantly up, if you look at your overall at the end of a dungeon, Crashing Storm really isn't doing anything at all. It's just there to generate more Maelstrom and do a minor amount of nature damage, right? With every auto attack. You would think it would do a bit more damage, but it doesn't. So hopefully they buff our uncapped stuff, or maybe do something about other things. I don't know. It's just Enhancement needs a change, I think, to follow up with the way Mythic Plus is going to be, especially in the new season. All the Dragonflight dungeons are massive AoE dungeons. You got Algathar's Academy. You got Oharian Plains. You got, or is it No Good Offensive? I don't remember. Uh, the arcane one that I can't remember, but I know there's a lot of AoE in it. Almost every dungeon that's coming back is going to have a significant amount of AoE, and enhancement won't be able to keep up. Although we do have very good priority and funnel damage, like we had the best funnel damage out of any other class. But funnel damage versus uncapped AoE is considerably different. Even though we do have great funnel damage, we still can't keep up with the amount of damage that like outlaw rogues, even though they're capped, they're doing so much more damage. You know, it's kind of insane. But in my opinion, they could make some modifications to it, or honestly, I'd like to see them not go through with the season 3 tier set and bring back season 1, because that would, one, give us a better overall in damage, I believe, and two, it would allow for a bit more of a flexible build to be brought into the game, rather than being stuck forcing Primordial Wave, because Primordial Wave does apply that capped AoE even more. So you won't have that extra damage. If we went with season 1, we would have I believe it would be more lenient towards Storm than it would Elementalist. We didn't get a chance to play with the new talent tree with season 1, so it's hard to say what would happen. But with Alpha Dog and stuff like that from Storm, you would actually gain a lot of AoE, especially uncapped effects, but it wouldn't be like a significant amount or anything, right? So it would have been nice to see season 1 come back, because they did mention they were going to rebuff these sets to what they were originally. So, which was every time you Storm Strike, your next nature, fire, or ice thing is going to do increased damage. And then every time you spend Maelstrom power, you gain X amount of haste per Maelstrom spent. So you would be able to lean more into other stats rather than have to get more haste as well. So, but yeah, I don't know. Mythic Plus is going to be weird next season in hopes they make some modifications. The same thing with Elemental. I really hope they make changes to it to really give it the edge in Mythic Plus. I mean, I think both specs are currently like C tier on the Mythic tier list, and that's not because strictly damage speaking, they can do a lot of damage, but one is their AoE for those big pulls, and two is their defensive quality just isn't there. You can't live those plus 30 dungeons, although the top, enhanced shamans and stuff, they do plus 30s, but they're running like defensive trinkets and stuff like that, like the raid trinkets, the rage heart or something, I think it was, from Fyrak. People are having to run that just so they can stay alive, because it gives you that massive absorb shield. So it's kind of crazy, but it is what it is. And I saw a post recently, I don't remember who it was, but they said that we shouldn't be dying to bosses or dungeon mechanics in one shot. We should just not be able to make the damage check, meaning our healers should run out of mana before the boss dies, essentially, or whatever, right? So, or you're hitting an enrage factor or something like that, which completely makes sense. I think that would be a better way. Like, maybe the dungeons will go on a bit longer, but I think that is a very great idea, because being one shot randomly by a mechanic is definitely dumb. And when you bring in classes that don't have that exceptional defense quality, it definitely gives a broader choice of people you can bring. Like, because you don't often bring hunters due to their lack of survivability, and the same with shamans. And it's weird because they're both mail wearers. It's funny how that works. But yeah, that's one of the things that I'm hoping to see. some changes. Now, there were a significant amount of nerfs to the dungeons, so we'll see how that plays out later on. But yeah, as for gear and stuff coming from those dungeons, there's no way in hell I'm going back to the puzzle box. I hated the Algathar's puzzle box for agility users because you have to cast the darn thing, and that is annoying. So I won't be using that. I don't remember. I'm probably going to use the stat trinkets out of the 3 raids. The one out of the second raid and the first raid, probably use those. Just get maximum amount of stats. I think that's better. But we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, if I had to change one thing about Enhance for next season, and it would be very minor, was to split Elemental Spirits and Alpha Dog, or make them one talent or something like that. Just because they are... It's interesting. Because I think the 2 talents could work great together. Basically, Alpha Dog causes the Feral Spirits to erupt damage, and then what I think could happen is if you get Elemental Spirits with it, it erupts that damage type. So if you have a Storm Dog, it deals storm damage, you know? Or if you have regular Feral Spirits, they deal physical damage, right? So I think that would also apply a good increase to Enhancement's overall damage. But another thing is uncap Fire Nova. We're already capped at 6 targets due to Flame Shock, so I think uncapping the damage from Fire Nova would be a massive increase to the use of Fire Nova as well as the use of Enhancement Shamans. Because the biggest downfall to using Hailstorm over Fire Nova is the damage cap, right? So Hailstorm can only hit 6 targets, whereas Fire Nova, if it was uncapped, you could hit as many targets as you want, so that would increase its damage value. The other option is basically triple the damage of Fire Nova, because it's ridiculous how little damage it does. It's just saddening, because you press it and your damage doesn't go anywhere. It's just a Maelstrom generator at this point, because for each Fire Nova you use, essentially up to 6, you gain Maelstrom per Fire Nova. But if they were to uncap Fire Nova, I think it would be used a lot more, and you might even see enhancement in the MDI due to its AoE, because it would make that huge difference. Now, why would we have... But, like, the other thing is, why was it designed with a double cap on it? One, you can only get 6 Fire Novas out at once. And then, you can only hit 6 targets at once. That's ridiculous. Why would you double cap a spell? It doesn't make sense to me. And that's the big reason why it hasn't been used. The only time it was used was in the MDI for Brackenhide Hollow, and I don't even think it was like that. It was like a 1% damage increase, I think, for Elbro. It's that minor, but like, you know, you take it just to get that increase. But it's just like, why wouldn't we have it uncapped? If they uncap Fire Nova, I think it would be a great addition to the enhancement kit. Another thing would be, well, we kind of use all of our talents, but to change how Rooted Elements works for both Enhancement and Elemental Shaman. The way I think it should work is they already have the design for, what is it, Celestial Alignment or Incarnation for Boomkin Druids, where after 8 Star Surges, you gain alignment or whatever it is. I think that's a great design, and it should be applied to both Enhancement and Elemental. After 20 Storm Strikes or whatever, you gain an Ascendance proc or something like that. Like, I think these percentages are just too much RNG, especially when you have to rely on procking Storm Flurry. You have to rely on Stormbringer procs and Maelstrom procs and stuff like that. It's too much RNG involved, and I think if they applied it the way they do the Celestial Alignment build, I think it'd be great. But yeah, capped AoE is not something that is fun, nor should it be in the game. It's weird, but I don't know, they hard capped enhancement so much, and I mean they did the same for Elemental a little bit, but Chain Lightning, obviously it has a cap. Crashing Storm doesn't have a cap, but doesn't do any damage. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Why are our uncapped AoE abilities, when we have these massive 20 target pulls on some of these places, doing less damage than our cap stuff? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't think it should be that way. I think if we have, let's say Algathar's Academy, for instance, pardon me, if you pull all those Trents in that first boss room where the big tree guy is, you pull that entire room, Crash Lightning should be your top damage, in my opinion. And just because every time you use a spell, you send out a shockwave of nature damage, which, in my opinion, should do a significant amount when you have more than 20 targets. But it just can't even keep up with 6 targets of Flame Shock. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. And the same goes for Fire Nova. If it's supposed to be this grand AoE spell, why doesn't it do any damage? So, I don't know. Let me know your opinions on it, because my opinion is it's dumb. Like, although Enhancement does have this funnel cleave, it doesn't feel good since Mythic Plus is designed behind big pulls. It's not like Classic where you're pulling like 1 or 3 to 4 mobs at once. Even in Season of Discovery, when you're doing dungeons, you're still trying to pull as much as possible. But yeah, I don't know. I think they need to change the way Fire Nova works, change how much damage Crash Lightning works, and take a look at everything, because Enhancement started off very, very strong and then kind of kicked the bucket after everybody got gear and they got changes to their classes, whereas I think we only got nerfs. So I don't know what Blizzard's plan is for us, but hopefully it looks brighter for Season 4, because honestly it hasn't been all that much fun. I've only wanted to play Storm build since I've been forced into Primordial Wave, and I don't even want to really play Primordial Wave because it is kind of that crappy spell. But anyways, that is it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed me rambling on as usual while watching me poorly play Enhancement Shaman in the background with Fire Nova. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on what you would like changed to Enhancement maybe for Season 4, or possibly how you think it should be played in the future. But anyways, yeah, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Let us.